There we go. All right. So again, feel free to ask questions at any time. And if something comes up later, you're looking at your notes or trying to do something that we talked about, and you're like, what was that again? My email's on the screen. Please feel free to email me any questions as well. I'm happy to help with little short things. So first off, some general golden rules for social media as a whole, not just Facebook, but figure out what sets you apart from the competition and play off that. Every single one of you are in businesses that already, you're in fields that already exist. There are other people that do kind of what you do, but you do something different, whether that is, a specific focus or a target audience or the quality of your product or just your personality, your style. You are different. That's why you went into business for yourself. Make sure you really play that up on your profile. Your Facebook should be indistinguishably you. It shouldn't be easy to just swap you out for somebody else and it makes sense. Have a plan and a goal. Know what it is you want out of your social media page. A lot of intro goals are, I want X number of followers, but that's not really helpful because that's basically, even if you have 1,000 followers, basically 1,000 people standing in a room looking at you. What is it that you actually want that tool to do for you? Do you want, to get more visibility so more people know you exist? Do you want more hard, I want to sell this many more product. I want this many more regular customers. I want to use it as a customer service tool. What is it that you actually want out of that? Once you set that down in hard numbers, it's a lot easier to set goals. Okay, to get there, I need to do these things. Don't force a hard sell. Well, you absolutely can sell on social media, and it really is picking up lately. People do not go online to be sold at. Driving down the road, you get tons of billboards. Opening your email, you have thousands of emails. Turning on the radio, watching TV, you're bombarded with advertisements all the time. It's an inevitable part of social media, but that is not why you go there. You go there for education, entertainment, connection, escape. Those are the things that you should be providing to your followers, and that will get you better interactions than just, hey, we have a sale, try this new product, here's a coupon, tell a friend. That stuff gets really old for people really quickly. Make sure you're really responsive to people. Social media is not a soapbox. You are not standing out there shouting into the void, even though sometimes it can feel like that. Social media, the first word in social media is social. You're supposed to be talking to other people. So when somebody has gone out of their time to like your post, not necessarily like, but send you a message asking you a question or leaving a comment on one of your posts or leaving a review on your business or posting their own post and tagging you in it. Those are all things that really help boost the visibility of your page. So you want to reward that so that more people do it. So when somebody sends you a message or leaves you a comment or a review, respond to them, thank them for it, reply to them if they asked you a question, be interactive with people, because then other people will see, oh, this page actually reacts with them. I'm going to talk to them too. Keep in mind that followers are people too. It can get really easy to get lost in the weeds with social media of, I got to get 3 posts out a week, or I have to do this or that, blah, blah, blah. But you're not just posting to post, you're posting to interact with people. So keeping that in mind will help you realize, is this post that I'm thinking of making useful for them in some way? And again, that way could just be entertainment or distraction. Don't just add to the ever-growing white noise that is online communications. Have an intent with all of your posts. I would so much rather you guys post less frequently, but every single one is intentional, than posting an arbitrary number like 3 times a day or 5 times a week or anything like that. With Goosefoot social media, I try to post at least 5 times a week. I don't often hit that because I get busy and I have other stuff to do, or I just don't have anything going on. December is kind of a dead time, so nothing was happening. I didn't have much to talk about except the same 3 things. And those same 3 things get really boring. So I would just skip some days. That being said, social media does take time, consistency, and work. Those of us who use social media as personal are so used to conditioning it as it's just this silly thing that doesn't really matter. That, you know, it's not real work. So you don't give it the weight and time that it needs. But in order to actually see returns on your social media, you need to post regularly, whether that is, you know, I post on Thursday every single week, or I post Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or I post at this time every single day. Whatever that looks for you, it's fine. But that consistency is so important because it really builds up your audience. They come to expect, oh, this is going to come out on this day. I should go look at their page. Because as you probably know, Facebook's got their lovely algorithm that just doesn't show people things. So when you train them to go and either interact with your posts regularly or go look at your page, then they're going to see the content, whether or not Facebook is putting it on their main feed. And it also takes work. I mean, you have to actually sit down and not only create the posts, but you have to keep on top of how things are changing, and you have to keep on top of your strategy. You know what you want to do with it, but how do you get there? And you guys are already making improvements by being in this class. You are intentionally saying, I want to know how to do this better. My class isn't the only class. There are tons of classes out there online. I take some about 3 times a year to make sure that I'm giving you guys the most up-to-date information, or see if somebody else has a better idea. So just pay attention, spend some time actually thinking it through and improving your skill, and regularly schedule time. I'll talk about this near the end or maybe in the next one, but you can schedule posts, and that's a huge help because then for me, I also run the Coupeville Arts and Crafts Festival social media. That leading up to the festival, for the like 3 months leading up to it, every single vendor gets posted on our social media page. That is 3 posts a day, every single day for 3 months. I don't have time to be on Facebook 3 times a day, every single day. So what I do is I set aside about an hour on Sunday and I schedule out all of the posts to go out throughout the week. So instead of me trying to scramble and fit in everything else I have to do and social media, I have my dedicated social media time. I already talked about social media is social, and make sure you have a page, not a profile. I think Facebook has been really good about pushing this, and it sounds like all of you have a page set up. But what this means is when you first create a Facebook account, you're setting up a profile. This is usually like your name, your picture, your information, but it is just a person. And there's a lot of limited tools that we're going to talk about today that are only available to pages. Once you've got a profile set up, then you can set up pages, and you can set up as many as you want. And this is, I think I have it on another slide, but we'll just actually go ahead and open up Facebook instead of looking at the screenshot. There's actually a tab for pages. Sorry, my computer's a little slow. Gosh, am I even logged into Facebook? That is an oversight. Even not knowing that there's like a difference profile on the page. I'm like, oh. Yeah, it is. There's never like a primer of like, here's what all the terms mean and how to find everything. Okay, so go into Facebook. I am in my profile. This is my personal feed. This is all my personal contacts. But then there's this tab called Pages, and I run about like 13 of them, so you'll see a lot. But pages are set up a little differently. For one, pages can run ads, a profile cannot. Pages have specific URLs. Profiles tend to have like, it's like facebook.com/name and a bunch of numbers. When you go to, you know, a page, well, for example, the Goosefoot one, I'm going to move everybody's pictures down. If you actually look at the full URL, it is facebook.com/Goosefoot Community Fund. It's more direct and it's our actual name. It's right here at the top. And you can see I have a lot of different options here that I don't have on profile. Let me Yeah, so this is my profile. You can see this is a lot more bare bones of, here's my post, here's my people, I can add to my story, all of that. But on my page, I have this whole other sidebar that doesn't show up on my profile. And it's got options. It's got Messenger, it's got Ad Center, I've got events. They have some resources and tools. I can post jobs. I've got all my notifications specifically for this page right there. Insights is really important. This is what the hard data on who's looking at your page and what they're doing there. So there's all of these tools that don't exist for profiles that do exist for pages. So even if there is no difference between you and your business, I would still recommend setting up a page for your business, because you'll get access to all of these tools that don't exist for profiles. And then also it is actually against Facebook's terms of service to use a profile for business. They really push you into a page. So if they catch you, they'll either shut your page down for not being a person, or they'll convert your profile into a page anyway. The other difference is pages have likes and followers, not friends. So it's just a weird classification, but you're gonna wanna make sure you have a page set up. And I have some screenshots on like the setup process if you need it. I think does everybody in this room have a page already? I would assume. Yeah.
I don't think so.
Let's look. You can usually tell from the outside too.
That's my Spunk Store.
There we go.
So it shows you how much I know.
Yeah, this is a page.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Yeah, I've got a like option. I've got a shopping cart option, in the description and everything. These don't exist for profiles.
Thank you.
Facebook should not be your only tool to reach out to people. It should be one tool in your overall bigger strategy. There's a few reasons for this. Different people use different ways to get information and communicate. Some people are glued to Facebook and are on 24/7. Other people rarely, if ever, check it. And so you want to be able to reach all of those people. They also are receptive in different ways. Instagram, for example, has a much higher engagement rate than Facebook. And what that means is Facebook people tend to just kind of blindly scroll and not actually look at anything, whereas Instagram people are going there to look at stuff. So when you have it up there, does your Facebook page work with your website, your store, your physical storefront, your email blasts, your mailers, your flyers? What I'm saying is, are you sharing the same information on all of these channels? You might think it gets repetitive and dull because you are seeing those in the same places, but other people aren't. They're only seeing one of the like 7 different ways you've put out the same news story, or at least they're only engaging with one of those. I don't know the exact statistics, but I think it's something like people need to see something an average of 12 times before they actually take it into their brain. So you are going to get tired of your content way before anybody else is. Don't be afraid to keep putting it out there. Do you use the similar like images and language on your social media, your newsletter, your website? Do you have the same logo consistently everywhere? It can get really confusing when you have your face as your logo on Facebook, because people are like, who is that? I don't know who that is. So having those things consistent everywhere you show up, using the same kind of color scheme when you're making graphics or images on all of your handouts and outsourced resources. Make sure they all look like they came from the same place, not like 12 different people all designed them.
Speaking of like having your picture, the algorithm prefer like a face to like a logo.
So I'll repeat your question just so I can make sure you guys hear it as well. She was asking if the algorithm prefers a face versus a logo. The algorithm doesn't really care what your profile picture is. The biggest thing is just so your audience can start to associate it. So I'm sure you all had an instance where you got a drastic haircut change and no one in your life could recognize you for the couple seconds they saw you. That's basically the same thing that happens anytime you change your logo on your profile picture on social media. So whatever you go with, don't change it unless your business has a drastic rebrand. Logos are usually just easier because they're designed to be distinguishable at a small distance and you can consistently use them everywhere. But for some of you, you might be your business, you know, coaching and real estate tend to break that rule. So those businesses, it is the person. So it is very common to see somebody's face as their profile picture instead. So whatever you do, just be consistent about it. Make sure you cross promote your content. So not only can you post the same content on multiple tools, and now because Facebook also owns Instagram, there are tools to post to both at the same time, which is great. But you can also get people to look at other channels. So say, you know, you're a coaching business and you write a really long blog post on a specific subject. Most social media doesn't really encourage a lot of words. People aren't there necessarily to read. So what you do is instead you post the blog post on your website, and then on your newsletter and your Facebook page, you post a little blurb, a teaser to get people to want to read the rest of it and then link to your website. This helps a few different ways. One, people clicking on that link to go read more tells Facebook, hey, this is content people want to see. I'm going to show them more of it. It tells Google on your website's end, hey, there is traffic coming into this website. This website is interesting and I should put it higher in the search rankings. So it's helpful to get people to move throughout your presence online as much as you can. If you're a video type of person, don't be afraid to post a short, 30-second clip on Facebook and Instagram, and tell people to go watch the full video on your YouTube or your website. So that's, get people to go throughout rather than just sticking on one platform. I've alluded to this a couple times, but Facebook is a communication tool, not a sales tool. So while sales can happen on there, and they do have some built-in sales options for those of you that have a physical product, again, people don't go online to be sold at. So make sure you are being open to more talking to people. The more you engage with people, the more they come to love you and what you do. They're going to be customers. But just don't throw sales at them constantly because that gets dull.
Tammy,
And-
I have a question.
Yeah, go for it.
So the Facebook page for like Leadership Would Be hasn't, we haven't had somebody to create a post in quite some time, but
Yeah.
other people have posted things about like their events or those all come up on that page. How is that happening?
So they are either tagging you in it. So when they type out your name, Facebook comes up with a list of like, hey, do you want to tag this page? And if they click on it, it'll basically be a hyperlink on that post that says it involves this other page. And so then other people who do follow your page will also be like, hey, another page, tag them in this post, and it'll show it to them as well.
So that's how we would do it as well if we wanted to link
Tag
our
other people, yeah.
organization. Okay, and when you tag it, does it, because in those posts, I don't see like a reference necessarily to Leadership Would Be. So does it necessarily put the name in?
There's
or?
a couple of ways to do that. When you're making a page or post, you can, again, I'm gonna make this bigger. You can tag people in it. I think that the chamber's probably the biggest offender of this. They just add a bunch of tags to the post. I'm gonna pull up the Langley Chamber. Their posts, pretty much every single one of their posts, they just tag everybody in it, whether or not it involves us. And it works, it gets eyes on it.
So you just scrolled past your announcement for the
So they
Mardi Gras.
shared our-
So you shared that or you tagged them?
And I did not
You're kind of cutting out.
follow us, so they went. Well,
Sorry about.
doing-
I can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Oh, no, it's a little muffled. Yeah.
Oh. Is that better? Yeah, great. Okay, yeah, so here we go. The chamber, the tourism page does it. They'll just tag other pages. They'll just add them at the end of the post. So some of them can do it in the regular feed. I'm gonna look at my other page, the Bayview Corner. I did that yesterday. So on Bayview Corners page, I post about a business organization that's here in the corner once a week. And so this week's was Goosefoot. So the tag is part of the regular text. Other people will do it like the tourism does, where they just add everybody's name at the end. And then sometimes on a post itself, you can also tag people. I'm not sure where the icon for that is, but it might be behind everybody's faces.
By my house.
What is that?
That picture is by my house.
Oh, nice. Yeah, so there's ways to also tag people in it. When you're posting the picture, it'll say, do you want to tag anybody in this? And you can tag them on the image itself too. So there's a few different ways you can tag people. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Undo full screen. All right. I'm gonna shut the door really quick just because I don't think anyone else is coming. But keep in mind also that Facebook is prioritizing friends and family content over business pages. So what this means is your content is just really not getting shared with people, unfortunately. Even if people have liked your page, unless they regularly interact with the content, Facebook just isn't going to show your stuff to them, which is really frustrating, but it's part of that algorithm. So you do need to be careful what you're posting, because again, if you're posting a bunch of stuff because somebody told you you need to post 3 times a day, but it's not stuff that's engaging to your audience, no one is interacting with it, you could post 3 times a day and Facebook isn't showing it to anybody. So it's not doing you any good. It's taking your time for something that's not working. So you need to be careful about what you're posting, make sure it's engaging. And then frankly, social media, especially Facebook, is becoming pay to play. You do need to drop some money on ads from time to time. And then people will start seeing your stuff again. And if they like it and they interact with it at that point, then they will continue seeing more of your stuff until they drop off again. So some important quotes about how Facebook works that I really like from Forbes. Facebook isn't television. Its power lies not in reaching a large number of people at once, but instead in its ability to reach a small, highly curated audience. So what this means for you guys is don't worry about chasing those big numbers. Don't think, oh, I have to get 1,000 people. Because you could have 1,000 likes and nobody is interacting with your stuff and none of them are turning into real customers. Or you could have only 89 likes on your page, but the vast majority of them are regularly interacting with you and regularly purchasing things from you. It's far better to have that small audience that's really doing it for you. You're really talking to them. They're really appreciating what you're putting out, than it is to reach some big arbitrary number that has nothing for you. And Betsy, you said it even more succinctly from Facebook's small and medium-sized business engagement team: tell the right story to the right audience. That is all you're doing, telling the right story to the right audience. You don't need to talk to everybody. You need to talk to your customers. So kind of went through this, I'll just breeze through it pretty quickly. When you go to pages, you can click create a page. I'm sure you guys all went through this stage of putting in the name. The nice thing about pages too is profiles have a very restricted setup. You have to use a name, so you have to have first name, last name. Business pages, you can have whatever you want. You saw Goosefoot's business page is Goosefoot. It's one word. I don't have to worry about coming up with some weird last name. And then you can have a description. Descriptions are pretty short, but it's just, this is what I do. Again, profiles for personal use, pages for business. When you set up your page, it will automatically kind of give you the facebook.com/ a little bit like a whole string of numbers, which is impossible to type out. So make sure you go back to your page and go to the about section. And if you haven't, make sure you claim your URL. So it'll be facebook.com/ whatever your business name is. You might need to get a little creative depending on if another business exists with yours. As you saw, ours is facebook.com/ Goosefoot Community Fund, because there is another Goosefoot in Chicago that's a restaurant. Make sure you fill out your whole about section. This is the searchable thing that will turn up in Google and when people are searching on Facebook. So fill out as many of those fields as is applicable to you. You know, obviously some of you guys, you know, if you're making jewelry, you don't have business hours. You can leave that section blank. But if you do have something, make sure you fill it out. The more information you give people, the better. Restaurants especially, I think, are really guilty of this. I will go to their page and I'm like, what are your business hours? Tell me, what's your menu? If you don't want people to have your email, don't put it in that field. If you do want people to be able to email you, put it there. Use the call to action button. So I don't think I got a picture of this in these slides, but the call to action button is this button at the top of the page, this blue button that's right next to their name. Would-be Camino Islands Tourism has picked sign up, which takes you to their newsletter. Bayview Corners is, I think it's send message. It's harder to see when you're on your own page. Goosefoot's, what did I set up? Oh, learn more, that takes them to our website. And then the same thing with the Coupeville Arts and Crafts Festival. It's learn more, it takes you to the website. So whatever you want them to do, there's so many options, and that's actually what the screenshot on the side here is. Do you want people to follow your page? Do you want them to look at a gift card, start an order, book if you have a booking calendar, get a quote if you don't, call, contact us, send a message, send an email, learn more, sign up, use an app, play a game, watch a video. There's so many actions you can have them do. Make sure you pick the one you want people to do the most frequently instead of leaving it at the default. And then make sure you use your cover photo as a billboard. That is that big photo that's at the top of your page over your title. You should be changing that regularly. That is the most important information. That's the first thing people see when they go to your page. So, you know, you can have it. Do you have some promotion or giveaway going on right now? Do you have an upcoming event or a class? You can see the top ranked marketing one is very much like a billboard. Like you could see that printed out on a billboard on the side of the highway. You should be changing these regularly, depending on what you're doing. You know, somebody as big as like Papa John's, they change theirs really regularly, like weekly. Somebody like Goosefoot, we probably change ours between monthly and quarterly, depending on what's going on. So right now you saw Goosefoot's cover page is Mardi Gras, because that's next month. Before that, it was a picture of me teaching classes because it's workshop season. After Mardi Gras, it will probably be the properties for a little bit, and then it will be Earth and Ocean Month because that's in April. So, you know, you change it out depending on what's going on and what you're really talking about and what you're most excited for people to know about what you're doing. You can also do moving covers. So there's an option for slideshows. Langley was doing it for a while back in Halloween. So instead of just picking one picture, you can pick multiple and it'll auto scroll for people. This one I think I need to click on. This is a university and their cover photo is a video. It doesn't, obviously it plays without sound, but you know, it's a video of the campus. So there are a lot of options when it comes to a cover. You can have a single photo, you could have a slideshow, or you could have a video. Whatever works best for you. Keep in mind the video is silent. So, you know, don't have one of your product demos or classes or something. But there's a lot of options. Have fun with it and don't be afraid to try out something and change it up regularly. I'm going to change, yes. Okay. Why are you staying up there? Profile pictures, we talked about this a little bit. The profile picture is that, you know, nice little square and or round picture that shows up in the top left corner of your posts. It needs to be simple. Don't put a ton of words in it because as you guys have seen, if you scrolled through Facebook, it's tiny. It's really hard to tell what some people's logos are because of how small they are. So keep it simple. It's got to be distinguishable at that small of a size or from a distance. A really good, you know, usual normal option is to use your business's logo or a picture of your main product, whatever's more distinguishable. And again, if you're in something like coaching or real estate, it's not unheard of to use your face. Whatever works best for you. The biggest thing is it should rarely, if ever, change. Because we talked about that. When you change your look, everybody gets completely confused on who you are now. And you can simplify elements. So if you look at Goosefoot's pages, you know, Goosefoot's logo is right there on the top left of every slide. That at profile or at social media square, small image size is completely unreadable. So instead of putting the entire logo, we just use the rippling G part of it because that's very distinguishable on its own and it's very easy to make square. So you can use just an element of your logo or business or whatever. The biggest letdown I say is I see with some businesses around here, they'll use like a picture of their storefront. What is that? I don't know what that is. It's a building. So, you know, think carefully on what you do your profile picture and make sure it represents you well into the future. Oh, what happened there? There we go. Okay. Types of posts. Some of you guys might be thinking, but what do I post? And there's a few different ways you can categorize kinds of posts, and it really is good to do a mix of all of these. So obviously you can have your sales posts, you know, if you have a new product come out or something really exciting, something to talk about, you know, you absolutely are allowed to post those. I said, don't only post those, but don't be afraid of posting those because ultimately you are a business and you are trying to sell something. You can have interactive posts. This is posts where you're really inviting the engagement from the audience. So, you know, tell me what your guys' favorite thing to do over the summer is, or post a picture below, or, you know, vote in a poll, things that really get people to communicate back with you. User-generated content. This is stuff made by other people. So have people made a post about your business? Did they take a picture at your event? Did somebody take a picture ranting and raving and really loving, you know, something you made? Either if they posted it on social media, go ahead and share that to your page. If they sent it to you, go ahead and ask them, hey, is it okay if I post this on my page? This does a couple of things. I love user-generated content because one, it's content that I didn't have to make. Somebody else did it for me. And two, it really invites more people to do the same. Because we, as people, we do like our efforts validated. We do like to know that people like the picture we took, or they like to hear our opinion. So if they see, oh, you're posting other people's stuff, maybe you'll post mine too. Don't be afraid to post behind the scenes content. People love to know how the sausage is made. Did you get new stock in that you have to sort? Did something crazy happen and just break everything and you're a little frustrated? Is there a dog that comes into your shop every day and you're like, look at this amazing dog, I love him. Introduce your team members if you have multiple people working with you. You know, like I said, people love to know what's going on They love, I don't think I hit on this earlier, but people trust other people a lot more than they trust brands. And so that gives you guys a distinct advantage over large corporations that have a whole team of social media. Is for most of you guys, you are the company. So your brand is a person. And so you don't have to create this artificial persona that, Pepsi does, because you are a person. And so don't be afraid to let people see that a bit. Product use suggestions. If you create a product that could be used in a few different ways, go ahead and show that to people. I had one person in here that made a specific kind of fabric, and she's like, there's like 12 different ways you could tie this to turn it into a completely different looking piece of clothing. And it's like, cool, then make a post like that. Oreos, if you go to Oreo's page, it's not just here's a new flavor of Oreo. It's, hey, here's how to make cake pops out of Oreos. Here's some, children's party games you can play. It's creative uses for a product that get people thinking to go, oh, wait, yeah, maybe I could do that. Cross promotion. Your social media does not need to be all about you, especially if you are a very place dependent business, real estate agents especially, but even, Goosefoot. I don't just talk about our stuff. I talk about what's going on around us, because especially in a community like Whidbey, we all affect each other. People don't come to Whidbey for one thing. They come to Whidbey and they go to this event and they go to this wine shop and they go to this place for dinner. So don't be afraid to talk about that. A rising tide lifts all boats. It's okay for you to talk about, this is my favorite store to go to. This is the best place to go to lunch. You have to try it. Spunks, you guys are at the farmer's market. You guys can talk about the other vendors at the market. It doesn't just have to be you 24/7, because that's not how you talk to people. If you have any events coming up, either events that you are participating in or events you're putting on, event posts are great. I can get at least 8 posts out of a single event. I can get a save the date. I can get the actual posting it as an event on Facebook. I can get maybe a couple setup or leading up to it posts. For something like Mardi Gras, we usually have businesses that donate prizes. And so I will make posts showing the prize and thanking the prize donor. And by the way, every single one mentions, hey, Mardi Gras is coming up. And then I will post pictures of the event itself. And then I will post wrap up of, hey, thanks, this party was awesome. Thanks so much for coming. So you can get a ton of posts out of a single event. It's great. You can talk about personal stuff. Again, people trust people more than they trust brands. Don't be afraid to talk about, like, this is why I do this. This is why it matters to me. People love content like that. Think about it. If your coffee shop could tell you, hey, these beans were picked from this family legacy farm in this specific part, and here's what they do with the proceeds, like, that's really cool. I want to know more about that. Your audience is the same way. If you're having a bad day, you're like, hey, things are rough. Can you post cute animal pictures for me? People understand other human beings and they want that from you. So don't be afraid to share some of that. That being said, there is more and more attention being paid to keeping a separation from social media. So it is absolutely okay to keep things back for yourself. You do not have to share everything that's happening online. If you have to shut the business down for a little bit for personal reasons, you can just say, hey, we need to shut the business down for personal reasons. You don't need to give more details. You can post stories. So stories were a thing that Instagram stole from Snapchat, and now pretty much every single social media does it. This is special content that gets its own feed, and it only sticks around for 24 hours and then it goes away. It's usually a video or a picture, and it actually takes up the entire screen instead of whatever normal dimensions you're working with. These are they're really driven by engagement. People do interact with stories a lot more. This can also take some of the nerves off of you. If you're worried something isn't good enough to go out on your regular feed and be there forever, you can put it in a story because it's going to go away in 24 hours. That can also be a great way to promote, if you have a special going on or something you want to offer just to your most loyal fans who regularly check your content. You can put that in a story, so like pre-sales or whatever. That being said, if it's just another thing that'll add on that'll stress you out, you don't have to do stories. It's another tool that exists, but you won't get penalized for not having them. And then you can share viral content. This is content made by those big pages, the memes, the really funny videos, stuff like that. You can share some of those if it's applicable to your business. Don't heavily rely on these because it gets really dull for people. So that being said, don't be afraid to repost or recycle popular content. If you made something that got a lot of people engaged, little piece of trivia or history. I had a client that was a salon and I made a video screen capturing my computer while I went through the booking tool to show her largely older clientele how to use the online booking. That video was probably her most popular content while I was running her page. So I reposted that video quarterly. It's absolutely okay to share the same stuff over and over because different people are looking at your site at different times. New people are on the page. So don't be afraid, even though you've seen it a billion times, they probably haven't, especially with the way the algorithm is nowadays. So don't think, oh, I already posted that, I can't do it again. Go for it. Make sure you're experimenting with the types of content you post and when you're posting it. A lot of people ask me, but when's the best time to post? And it really depends. Everybody is different. Even the pages that I myself run, you can get into the insights and see what day of the week and what time your audience is most active. And it's so different for all of you. Goosefoot is largely like 5 p.m., I think, whereas Baby Corner is 8 p.m. It's different audiences react and interact in different ways. So figuring out when people are active and going to see your content is great. The more interactions you get early on, the more Facebook will show your content to people. So try posting at different times and different days and see what works, because I can't tell you. Schedule posts. I talked about this earlier, but use the tools out there that exist to schedule stuff. I don't know about you, but I do not have time to sit on social media constantly, but I can do it on a Friday afternoon or Monday morning when I'm not right in the right head space for work yet. So sit down and schedule stuff out. It can help you be a lot more intentional. It can keep you on a good schedule, and it just makes life so much easier than fretting every single day. I alluded to this earlier, but quality over quantity. I would so much rather you post one really good post a week than post 10 times a week that is garbage and everybody just skips past. You will get frustrated that way because Facebook will just stop showing your content. If you have like 4 posts in a row where nobody reacts to you, Facebook's just going to stop showing your stuff to anybody. And that 4 was completely arbitrary, by the way. Don't hold me to that. If you look at Goosefoot's page, we have it's somewhere down here. We have 1,575 people like the page, 1,800 people follow the page. But, the Mardi Gras event, 193 people were reached. So that means Facebook put it on the feeds of 193 people. That is, what, 10% of these numbers? So the numbers are extremely, organic reach is really low. It's just not showing it to as many people. And that's just, how it is. It's their platform and that's how they want to do it. So,
Would that be true since Facebook and Instagram are same ownership, would it still be that 180 something people that see it on Instagram too? Do they do that the same way?
Their algorithms do work somewhat differently. They've never flat out said, this is how it works, and that makes complete sense. They wouldn't, because then people would just game the system. So their algorithms do work somewhat differently, but yeah, the organic reach for Instagram is much lower than, 900 people follow me, so 900 people are seeing my stuff. My Instagram, my personal Instagram page, when I go and look at it, it only shows me like 8 posts from people I follow before it'll just start showing me random posts from people I don't follow, because it thinks I'll like it and I'll stick around longer. I don't know why they think that's effective, but something in their research and numbers has had to have shown it's effective. If not in getting people to stay around, then in getting people to pay them money. Make sure you remove the links from your post text. So when you're making a post on Facebook, you can post a link. So, I'm going to go to Goosefoot's page or website. The next workshop coming up is website design on the 31st. So say I wanted to make a post about this class. I can go ahead and copy. Oops. No. This is a Windows keyboard on a Mac, so it has issues. So say I wanted to make a post about the next workshop. I can go ahead and create post. I can post that URL, and then Facebook will go do its thing where it will go pull the content of that web page. It'll pull an image from the page once it's finished loading. So it'll pull the image from the page and then this brief blurb. Now that that is there, I will go ahead and delete this and just put whatever text I want to say. So like, hey, check out our next workshop. That content stays there and it still stays in this appealing, visually interesting format, but I don't have that really ugly looking URL here. And even that, our website has things nice and clean, so there isn't too many ugly things. But a lot of websites are not built that way. If I go to, I don't know, Weather Channel and then click on one of their articles, come on, you need to go away. There we go. This is a really long URL. So anyway, that being said, make sure you go ahead and remove that URL once this box has populated. On Facebook's end, if you're curious, no, you cannot change how this looks. You can't change what image it pulled. You can't change the text or anything that it's pulling. This is all stuff that is controllable on the website end. But either way, this looks a lot better than the link. So go ahead and post links, but once you're done, take the link out of it and just leave it this nicer looking post. Starting that. Go away. Thank you. Well, where's my controls? Anything? No? There we go. Okay. And then if you have a really important post, either like a job opening with your company or information about what's happening or anything, like you posted something and you really want people to be able to see it, instead of posting it like every single day, what you can do is you can pin it to the top of your page. So anybody who goes to your page, that is the first post they will see, even if you've posted things more recently. How you do
that? Oh,
What
go
was
ahead.
that?
Never mind.
Yeah. How you do that is when you're looking at a post in the top right corner, there's these 3 little dots. And if you click that, you get a menu expanded down. Instead of just explaining it again, I should just show it. So say I wanted people to see Mardi Gras party first above anything else. You can see right here in this top right corner is these 3 little dots, and this gives me a bunch of new options. I can pin it to the top of page. So now, anytime anybody comes to my page, this would be the first post they see, even though I've posted, a lot more things recently. you can only keep one pin posted. You can only keep one post pinned. So if if you have something new that you want to pin, just go ahead and pin it and it'll automatically unpin the last post and just pin that one. You cannot have multiple posts pinned, but it's a nice, easy tool if you need it. All right. So again, keep your posts personal, even if it's not about you personally every single time. Relate to your people on a personal level. They're human beings, you're human being. You know how to talk to people. You all do it every day. You're doing the same thing on social media. You're talking to people. People want to get to know you, your story, and why you are in business. Wishpond is one of the largest social media managers out there. They know what they're talking about. They want to know how you got into it. They want to know what you find interesting about it. They want to know why you love it and why you're doing it, how it's made. And it doesn't have to be deep and serious all the time. You can tell your life's backstory. You can also just be like, this thing is really neat. You need to be social on social media. It's not a soapbox. It was built for individuals to connect. So images. Posts with images are 40 times more likely to be shared. So don't just post text, go find something to put with it. You can either take your own pictures of nature, of your products, of whatever. You could also, if you don't have that ability or you don't have something on hand, you absolutely can go find free stock images. Just something to visually tie your post in. When people are scrolling their feed, they largely don't read the text. They're looking at the images. And then if the image catches their eye, they'll stop and go back and read the text then. So find something to pair with your picture, with your words. You can share viral memes and photos. It's a fun, if lazy way to gain additional views and shares. But if your page turns into only memes and photos, people are going to start unfollowing you because it's just going to kind of seem like spam. I should take that last line out. It's like the best image. They don't actually give you options anymore. So ignore that last one. Video. Video is rapidly becoming the most important type of new content to invest in. People are watching video online. And if pictures say 1,000 words, videos speak even louder. If you can make video, I promise it's not as intimidating as it feels. A lot of folks are scared to get into video. It's a lot of new skills. It's a lot of new things to think about. But we've got a couple of videos on our YouTube channel if you want to watch those on making video. But you can even just do something as easy as, just take your phone out and record yourself talking to people. Walk them through your day, show them your stock room or your creation room, show them your product, like with your necklaces, set them up on a nice display and physically walk around them, because seeing them in person in a 3D space completely changes things to looking at a 2D object, because from different angles, it might look different. It catches the light in different ways, depending on where you're standing. If you're just talking into a camera, it's a good way to put that face on your business and really connect with people. The very easiest way to make a video and make it good, because audio is really important, as you guys know. When mine gets muffled, it's hard to hear. The lighting is important. The quality is really important. So a good starter way, and something might ping in your brain, is to video in your car. Obviously not while you're driving, but just sit in your car and turn your camera on yourself. You've probably seen a lot of videos like this, and you might wonder why. There's a couple reasons. One, the layout of a car is a really good sound booth. It cuts out outside noise, and it's not, the problem with this room, and the reason I'm using a lav mic instead of those mic pods on the counter, this room is massive and it echoes a lot, which is very distracting. Cars are not. They are a good size, so they keep your audio perfect. And then also, because of the structure of a car, it is a natural, beautiful lighting. It is the best lighting you will ever find without being a lighting tech. The way it bounces through and it's never directly on you. So if you need just a quick video, sitting in your car is great, but also don't be afraid to just, walk around your house or sit in your backyard. You will learn tips as you pick it up and as you make video, but you're never going to learn and get more comfortable with video until you try it. If you're interested in doing video and you're scared, the only way you're going to get past that is to practice. And you can film videos that you never post as a practice. That's absolutely an option. But that's still that hurdle to get over of finally posting it. So another great way to do it is just to go live. I've got a note on that at the last end of the slide, but going live takes some of that stress away of, I have to edit this and it has to be perfect. It's live, it's off the cuff. It's going to be kind of awkward. When you're building those skills, a great trick is to go live at really weird times at like 1 a.m. when people aren't really online. And then you have, less stress of less people seeing it, but it still gives you practice. And live videos get boosted automatically. People who follow your page get a little alert if they're active or if they have push notifications on their phone. So-and-so is live. No other kind of post gives you that kind of instant, like, hey, pay attention to me. If you are uploading a video that is pre-recorded, and if you are talking in it, make sure you add captions. 90% of all viewers watch video without the sound, either because they're scrolling and videos autoplay without sound automatically, or because, quite frankly, a lot of us are on social media when we shouldn't be. We are at work, or we're at social gatherings, or we're standing in line at the grocery store. And sudden noise blaring out of a phone is like, hey, look at me. So most people leave the sound on. Even people who do turn it on eventually to hear you, they have to have been interested by the video first. And if it's just somebody talking and no indication of what they're talking about, they're just going to keep scrolling. There are a number of tools online that can auto caption your videos or can enable you to add captions. I don't have a specific one I recommend. I just go ahead and do some Googling and find one that works for you and that's easy. But make sure your video has captions or words. The preferred length of videos on Facebook is about 30 seconds to 1.5 minutes. Obviously, you can absolutely have longer videos than this, but that's kind of the sweet spot that most people will open a video. So hopefully that's also less stress. 30 seconds to 1.5 minutes goes by super quick. It doesn't have to be a big production. It could literally just be you walking around a product or just being like, hey guys, here's a guided meditation, or here's something to think about. Here's a nutrition tip of the day. Here's my lunch and how I made it. Something just short and sweet. Make sure you interact with people. We talked about this earlier, but it's not a soapbox. It is other people. When somebody took time out of their day, that tells the algorithm, hey, this post is interesting. Make sure you encourage that. Make sure you respond, or at the very least, at least like comments that people leave on your page, or post. If they posted something and tagged you in it, go like it and comment it. If you don't, even share it to your page. And if they leave reviews, respond to it, even if it's negative. People are paralyzed about maybe getting negative reviews on social media. I will say, don't stress about it that much. Anybody who has spent any amount of time online understands that there are crazy people online. There are people that will just make up the weirdest lies and weirdest claims. As long as you are level-headed in your reply and you explain, what happened and the steps you went through, people will have more respect for you. It's when you lose your cool and sink to their level that people are like, okay, there's something going on here. So, don't ignore reviews. Don't get mean and petty with people. If somebody says something you really don't like to hear, take a step away, go for a walk, relax for a bit, and then really think about what they said. Is there something to it that you need to pay attention to and change? Or is it somebody that's just off the cuff, crazy and completely making up lies? Whatever it is, be calm and measured in your response, but don't fear negative reviews. They're not that common and they're not as big of a deal as you might fear. If you go look at Goosefoot on Google, I think it's still there. We have a review that's 1 star that says terrible food or something like that. My reply is, we are a nonprofit. We don't serve food. That's never negatively impacted us. Encourage reviews, both in person and digitally. You want people to talk about your business because it shows it right there at the top. You know, when you go to your Facebook page, right here, we have 3 5-star reviews. Great. It shows it to everybody. So this is something that's very common and important. And again, people trust people more than they trust businesses. So even though you are your business and you are a person, they trust other people more than they trust you on how awesome and cool your business is. So don't be afraid to ask people in person if you make a sale, or you're talking with, you know, a client in person, just be like, hey, if you could leave a review, that would be great. Or put it on your receipt or put it in an email. The vast majority of people like to leave reviews, they just forget it. Like, think about it. When was the last time you left a review for a business you really loved? It's something you don't mind doing. You just forget that that's a thing you can do. So the worst, most people will just ignore it because they're busy. They don't have time. But a lot of people will leave you reviews if you kind of prompt them to. And it's actually in Facebook and Google's terms of service to encourage reviews. So like, do it.
Is there like a review link that you can send to people?
Just if there's a review link you can send to people, not really. It's just kind of linked to your Facebook page, and it's really obvious of like, review this business. So I think it's usually on the right side, but it might have moved to the left because they move the OS all the time. But yeah. There is on Google, I think. Google, there's like, you can go to your review page and give them that link. And above all, whenever you're interacting with people online, have fun. Social media is meant to be a fun place to gather with people you know. If you hate it, if you're miserable, if it's like pulling teeth for you to be there, people are going to pick up on that. We know how people talk. When you go to a party and someone's sitting in the corner grumbling about everybody at the party, you don't want to go hang out with them. So don't be that person at the party. If it really is absolutely miserable for you, the spoiler I'm going to give you today is you can just leave. Like, nothing is forcing you to be on one platform or another. Facebook is the largest one and you're going to get the most return. But if you hate it, it's going to be a waste of your time. So either find someone else to do it for you or go to one of the many other platforms. If you really don't like something, you don't have to be there. So find a way to have fun with it, whether it's through interacting with people, whether it's through learning something new, go have fun with it. You don't have to take yourself seriously all the time unless you are a very serious business. And I don't think anybody in this room is. Groups are also a really cool tool. This is a built-in like room for a specific topic or subject. You can join already existing groups for ideas, advice, camaraderie. There are groups for almost anything you could ever imagine. I'm sure there are a number of nutritionist groups there. I know there are a huge number of jewelry maker groups, food. I'm in a group for nonprofit storytellers. Like, there's so many groups out there for so many different things. And, it's a great way to learn from others in your same field, or you can find sales groups that'll allow you to post your product. Even some local ones, there's always all the usual ones, the buy sell trade groups, the South Whidbey alerts, the South Whidbey community pages. These are local groups that you can join just to know what's going on in the world and what people are looking for. You can also go ahead and create your own groups. You can create groups for exclusive offers for the most valued customers, if that's, the type of business you have, it's invitation only for the best of the best. You can build community around your business. They don't exist anymore, but when there was Paint Your Own Pottery in Freeland, they had a group, and I was part of that. Because again, thanks to Facebook's algorithms, a lot of their page content wasn't making it on my feed, but the group content always did. Don't know why, but it was. You can use it to provide customer service. Just give people a forum to talk about what they like, what they don't like, what you could do better. And then you can also do it to get feedback. Hey guys, I'm thinking of doing this. What do you think? Whatever you do, avoid self-promotion. Every single kind of group is notorious for usually the MLMs, but any kind of business that somebody goes in and they just post about their business and getting sales all the time. Some groups have hard rules against that. You will be kicked out of the group if that is all you do. Other groups, it just gets exhausting. So don't go to a group and only talk about yourself. Actually engage with what the group's content is. The nonprofit storyteller group I mentioned earlier, that one, somebody actually got in trouble over the holidays because they posted their organization's holiday ask campaign in the group. It's like, that is not what this group is for. This group is for getting advice and learning from each other, not for you to come in and talk about your group's fundraising. There are thousands of people in this group, and it would become completely unmanageable if everybody posted their own holiday fundraising campaign. So make sure you listen to whatever the group is and actually abide by it. But groups are a great way to build community in a slightly different way. Ads. Unlike everywhere else on the internet, ads on Facebook, on social media aren't necessarily for the hard sell either. You absolutely can do sales posts. You can sell products. A lot of the ads I get are products. But the real purpose of an ad on Facebook is to get more eyes. You can get greater awareness. In 2012, organic reach, and what that means, organic reach is people seeing your content without you paying for it. Organic reach in 2012 was about 16%. In 2022, it is 0.07%. That means for every 100 people who follow your page, maybe 7 of them are seeing your stuff. It's really frustrating. So, boosting a post, taking out an ad, it helps get more awareness of your page and your product. You can target ads for new people, but you can also run ads for your page's followers. So these are people who already like your stuff and they're just not seeing it. And you can, pay a bit of an ad to get people to start seeing your content again. You can also draw more people to your page. This is called click-through. And you can also reach, I mentioned this, you can reach followers who aren't seeing your stuff usually. We'll dig more into the ads in a second. I have lots of screenshots and I'll also go ahead and pull the system up. But I will say Facebook and Instagram, because they're owned by the same company, they share the same highly intuitive ad system. As frustrated as I get with their algorithm, I love their ad system. It is so easy to use and it's so straightforward. And you don't have to spend a lot. When Goosefoot runs an ad, we usually pay anywhere from like $5 to $20. So it doesn't have to be a ton of money. It's just something to drop every now and then when you need a little bit extra attention. But it's so easy to use. So when you're setting up an ad, the first thing you're going to have to set up now, and this has been a recent change, is you have to set your goal. What do you want from the ad? It'll automatically be on automatic, which lets Facebook select the goal based on what your page settings and what the post content is. But you can change that. So you can get them to watch a video, message you, call you, click the link. You want it to show to people who are most likely to like the page or like the post. You want people who are most likely to shop or click through or whatever. Advantage plus creative is giving Facebook permission to change some of the wording and maybe some of the images or which image in which order it shows to try things using their algorithm that people might like. You can leave this on, give them permission to fiddle with it, or you can turn this off if it's like, no, I want people to see it how I made it. Totally up to you. And then there you can see, you can change what the button says. If you leave it on automatic, it actually won't really give you any other options. But if you set it to specific goals, the options will change depending on what the goal you set is.
How do you get to that page?
Yeah, so how you get to this page is super easy. Largely, you can just go to any original post. You can't do this for shared content, but if it's a new post, you know, so let's say our Mardi Gras event. Right here at the bottom, because it's my page on this, every single post, I can see boost event or boost post or
Okay.
whatever it says.
Okay.
And then boom, here's the page I'm on.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So you can change the ad creative, so you can change what it's saying here. You can change what images or videos you upload. And then you can see all of the stuff I was talking about earlier. The special ad category is important to pay attention to if you're in any of these categories. So ads about credit, employment, housing, social issues, elections, politics, those have specific rules. And you can read about them, you know, right here. But if you have any sort of subject that falls into one of those categories, it doesn't mean you can't run an ad. It just means you have to abide by very specific rules. So if it is in one of those categories, make sure you click it. Otherwise, it will just automatically get rejected and Facebook will not run it as an ad. This can sometimes tangentially get triggered. You know, if your post mentions any social issues, anything with the police, Black Lives Matter, protests, anything like that, that'll automatically get lumped into social issues. And it can even be more arbitrary than that. Goosefoot is working on a housing initiative, and they started the Goosefoot Housing Group. And last month at the Goose does a monthly roundup. So when you're checking out, you can round up your purchase to the nearest dollar, and it'll go to a South Woodby nonprofit. And last month was the housing group. So I made a post about, you know, hey, go shop at the Goose and round up for the Goosefoot Housing Group. Because the word housing was in there, it got flagged. It was not about housing. So you can contest that if it gets flagged, and a person will go and look at it. But sometimes you might get randomly flagged. If you really don't think you broke a rule, you can flag it and I'll look at it again. But you might need to change some things. If you look at our page, Ian Joseph Jackson's art show that's in the hub right now, I went ahead and posted the post that's on there. I tried to boost it. It got rejected because one of the images includes a painting of somebody's butt. So it got automatically rejected. So I had to go back in and make an ad not including that one picture. Otherwise it wouldn't post it.
So Sammy, what is your experience with, I see on the bottom that that it shows targeting. So do you use that commonly? And
Yes.
if so, like, let's say I just selected Coopville,
Mhm.
does Facebook go through and look for every member that's in Coopville?
Yeah, so the audience is my favorite tool. I love this. If you go look at your page, you won't see Coopville as an option. This is not a generic Facebook option. I have set up a group, an audience that is people with specific traits, and I named it Coopville because I have a few clients that are Coopville, and so it's one I come back to regularly. So this is a group I have created that I've saved.
Okay, so
You
you
will-
did that by going down where it says create new?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you have, the same demographic that you want to hit all the time, go ahead and set it up as an audience, so you don't have to go through the effort of setting this up every single time. But you'll have different options on yours. So I'm going to show you guys the audience in a second, but Charlotte, you had a question.
Health issues tend to come up in these like special ad categories, because I know, like, for example, during the pandemic, lots of health pages was getting all.
Yeah, COVID specifically is one of the special ad categories that they will automatically flag for review just because there's so much misinformation out there. But other health issues, not usually, unless it's a big like conspiracy theory hot point. Those will usually get flagged as special issues. But health in general is usually fine. Right, exactly. Yeah, stuff like that is usually okay. So audiences, this is really where Facebook and Instagram shine. I love the really in-depth control you can get. So the advantage audience is, again, Facebook's trying to use its algorithm. I think it's complete garbage. I mean, look at, if you read this, people living in the United States, 30 miles away from this address, that's fine. Ages 18 to 65 plus, that's really broad, but not bad. But the interests for Goose, keep in mind, this is our Mardi Gras event. Facebook thinks this is going to be interesting to mortgage loans, free people, realtor.com, J. Crew, Carly Phillips, Julia Kent, interior design, drums, art and music, visual arts, fine art, or community issues. That is nonsense. I don't know where they got those. So you can edit this with this little pencil icon. You can choose people you choose through targeting. This will basically give you the same thing, but you'll have control over it. You can target people who already like your page. You can target people who like your page and people similar to them. So this is really just easy, people who like your page, but also people who exhibit similar tendencies. So you don't have to go specifically calling them out. And then you can choose people in your local area. I like people in your local area for like restaurants specifically, because it is going to show it to people who are within the area you designate when they look at their phone. So instead of targeting people who are living in that area or missing people who live in a different area but are located here or like visiting. So again, for restaurants, I really like this because then if you have a lunch special, you can run it to people in your local area, and it is only going to show people who are physically walking around the Langley area when they look at their phone. So it can get people who are visiting from Florida, but it'll miss people who live in Langley but are working over at Boeing. So those are instances I really like that. I usually stick to people you choose through targeting, and the level of control you can get here is phenomenal. So you can target men or women or all. This ostensibly goes under 18, but it really limits the options because there are a lot of rules about advertising to children. And 65 plus is the cap. It doesn't get any more specific after that. But you can, if I'm targeting people who can drink alcohol, I'll stop at 21. For our young professionals event that we have in April, that one is for people under the age of 45. So I can stop at 45. You can play with this as much as you need to. And every time if you pay attention to this bar down here, every time you make an adjustment, it'll show it to an estimated this many people. So if it's too narrow for you, you can keep fiddling. Location is great. You can type something as generic as Langley. When it thinks about it, there's a lot of Langleys. Langley, Washington. So there you go. Plus 25 miles. You can get it as big as 50 and as small as 10. You can also type specific addresses. So we're right now sitting in the cash store. So that's 5603 Bayview Road. Whenever it decides to load. Apparently not. Come on.
whatever. Usually it'll load. I don't know what's struggling with it today. Oops, too many of these. Oh my gosh, you're having troubles. You can type specific addresses, you can type states, you can type all the entire US, depending on whatever you're looking at. And you can do multiple ones as well. So if I wanted to do target, 10 miles within Langley, but I also wanted to target the Seattle area. What's this one? So they can overlap even a bit, it's fine. You can add multiple locations and it'll hit all of those. The detailed targeting is really fun. That's where you can get into interests. So community issues, not really relevant to Mardi Gras. Interior design either, but the rest of these are really good. There's some suggestions down here, but you can also just start typing stuff. So if you could type parents, all parents with adult children, parents with teenagers, parents with toddlers, parents with preschoolers, new parents. Then, you can type different things. You can get, business owners is behavior, a small business owner. You can target people by a lot of different demographics. Facebook gets this information from you from a few different ways. It's just how you use your page, what kind of content you interact with. And then these big companies also buy and sell data to each other. So, what else you're doing on the internet, it all kind of gets aggregated. And so, you can pick whatever you want. And every single time you change it, this audience size changes. You need to move. There you go. So, okay, I'm happy with that of it. Great, save audience. There we go. And then down here is the budget section. This is where you get to control how long something's running. 31 days is really long, but that's just it because this is an event and it knows it's on February 21st. It's offering to run it all the way until then, but I could run it for 5 days, 4 days, 3 days, whatever I wanted. I could run it to a specific date, whichever one you want to go ahead and click on. I never run it for that long. The most I've ever run it for is like 2 weeks at a time, and then I'll go in and do another ad. I don't know why I did that. And then here is where you get to set your budget. How much money do you want to pay? As you can see, you can go as little as $1 or as much as $5. It requires you to spend, I think, at least $5 a day. So if I try to go down to, 1, it'll be like, nope. Minimum budget is $1 per day. So, okay. So because I'm running it for 12 days, I have to spend at least $12 on this. And this is, again, your entire budget. Sometimes when you come into this, it'll look a little different and instead of saying your total budget, it will be saying your daily budget. So please make sure you're paying attention to what you're agreeing to. Don't spend more than you accidentally mean to, or don't undersell what you mean to do. And the nice thing is it will not break this. If you say you want to spend $12, it will only spend $12 or even less. Sometimes it'll get to like $11.70 or something like that, and it'll stop. And then it'll show you up here in this right corner about how many people it thinks it will reach with that based on the targeting you put in, how long you're running, and how much you're paying. If this is too low of a number for you, as you can see, as I increase this number goes up. So, obviously the more money you pay, the more people it'll show it to. So get to this to a point that you like it, and then you have to make sure you have a payment set up, and then you can go ahead and boost the event. It'll take a little bit of time to process it to make sure it's not breaking any rules. But then it'll go ahead and run it until you told it to stop running it, or you run out of money, whichever is first. So any questions on the ads?
When you are running an ad, is it always like you're just boosting a post or boosting an event, or is it like you can boost your whole?
You can boost your whole page. So she's asking, when you're running an ad, is it just a post or event, or is it your whole page? You absolutely can boost your entire page. Yes, I'm leaving. I know you don't want me to. So when you go, if you're on your page itself, if it'll load. There's a create an ad button right here. And then also there's usually a like boost your page somewhere. So yeah, you can also create ads that aren't necessarily posts on your page, but that gets a little more specific. And I talk about that in the next Facebook class, a little more advanced one. Anybody else have a question on ads before we move on? I think it's very straightforward and I just really like their system. It's so different from traditional ads. If you go to any print media or, television or radio, it does not work like this. They tell you, here's our audience and here's how much the ad costs. Do you want to do it? And your options are yes or no. But with social media, Google, things like that, you get a lot more control of, I have this much money, I want to reach these people. And in reply, they go, cool, this is what I can do for you. Does that sound good? What does the chat say?
But the page, if you don't request an ad, your page and your Facebook profile, all of that is free, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because one time they tried to charge me for something or another, and then I kind of appealed it and they said, oh, sorry.
Yeah. They probably made some kind of an error in their system.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, if anybody ever tries to tell you that having a page is going to cost you money, they're either a scammer or something went wrong in the system. It's never going to, it would make no sense for them to charge for this. Because the other thing to keep in mind with social media is because you are not paying to be there, you are the product, not the customer. So if you're ever wondering, like, why does Facebook keep changing these things? I don't like this. It's not for you. It's for the people who are paying to be there. All right, so we went through all of this. If you go back and look at this video on our channel, it used to be a little different. There used to be very hard and fast specific rules about posts or ads in general. Used to be limited to how much text you could have on an image and what kind of stuff. That's completely changed. Instead of general rules, there are hard and fast rules for specific categories. So like health has different rules than products. You can go into the ad manager and actually pull those up and read those. It's because it's so specific, it's way too much to put on a slide like this. That being said, best practices, I would still keep ads to eye-catching images, not really word-heavy images. So for Mardi Gras, for example, we make a poster. That is not the image that I post on Facebook because it's got all of the words and text on an image. And images don't scale super well. On big screens, it can get grainy. On tiny screens, it can be hard to read the text. So a better rule of thumb is to put a nice clean image to catch attention and put the text in the body of the post. That's where you actually get to type. So, Mardi Gras, this date, this time, this location, that all goes in the body of the text. And then the image is, a previous Mardi Gras party or like that central mask image that we use on the header, that kind of thing. Those nice, clean, less text on the image and more in the body of the post. You can post as much in the body of the post as you want. If you are linking into another page, to another site in your ad, the page that you are linking to has to be fully functional and it has to match the content of the ad. So say, you're making an ad for top 10 healthy eating habits, but then the page you link to is buy my book and they don't have anything to do with each other, Facebook will catch that and it will not let you run the ad. So the link has to be actually working. It has to be not a suspicious, like this is going to give everybody viruses kind of page, and it has to match the content. You can't, here's a cute dog. Here's a link to register for my next class. They have to work together for it to work. And then again, there are restrictions on political, housing, medical ads. So read those rules and make sure you are abiding by them before you try to take out the ad. The worst thing that'll happen is the ad just won't run. But in order for it to work and the time you spent setting it up, make sure it actually follows the rules. So some helpful tools to help you. First off is the Meta Business Suite. I absolutely love this update. You used to have to use third-party tools in order to schedule posts, cross-post, all of that. Facebook brought it in-house. So thank you, Facebook, finally doing something useful. So how you get there is either, right here, you can click Meta Business Suite when you're looking at your page, or you can also go to business.facebook.com. And that will take you to the Meta Business Suite. There also, if you're primarily a mobile, like phone or tablet user, there is a Meta Business Suite app you can download as well. And so now it brought all of these things that you need to know about your page into one place, one nice, easy place. So you can see, one ad rejected. That was the one I was telling you about earlier. I can create posts or ads from right here. I can set up a goal if there's something specific I'm trying to accomplish. I can have a to-do list. I can see how all of my recent posts have been doing recently. I can see what my audience is doing and compare it to same period previously. I haven't been doing stories, so that's been blank. The planner shows me like, when did I post recently? And then here's my ads. How has it reached? How much did it spend? How much did it cost me? This art show cost me a whole lot more than anything else. That sucks. And then here's some tips from Facebook itself on how to do different things and inspiration from other people. If you're ever worried that you're missing comments or messages, because Facebook doesn't always give you the notifications, I would just make it regularly part of your time to come into the business suite and go to your inbox. Inbox collects all of your comments and messages from Messenger, Instagram, and Facebook in one place. So you can see all of these and make sure you're actually replying to people. You can also set up auto messages like this. Most of the time I'm in here, I am spending it either in the planner or in content, and making posts. So, I can create stuff. And here's what the post creation looks like in the business suite. So I can set where it posts to. I can do Facebook, I can do Instagram, or I could do both. And then I can add photos, videos, or Vimeo. And then I can type whatever I want to type. I can customize it for each so that if I want to use slightly different wording for Instagram versus Facebook, or what I really use it for is on Instagram, I use hashtags. On Facebook, I don't. So I will turn that on, and then Instagram change all the hashtags. And also Instagram doesn't allow you links. So I will link something on Facebook that I won't on Instagram. And then I can schedule it. Right here, I can set what time and day I want it to go out on. And it's so nice. I can also click the active time so that it'll show me, this is most likely when your audience is active. So I don't have to figure it out. I can just use their algorithm. I don't know if I trust this Saturday at 5 a.m. So take it with a grain of salt, but suggestions. And then I can also save it as a draft if it's something I want to come back to later. I love that they put this in here. I can also go ahead and boost the post so not only can it post it, it can then also turn it into an ad at the same time. So I love that they brought all of this in-house. The insights are also really cool, but I've already been talking to you guys for an hour and 45 minutes almost, and that's a lot. So we're going to save that for the next class. But I really like the business manager. I'm so glad they've brought this stuff in-house. Because again, I used to have to go to like 3 different third-party tools to do this, and it was exhausting. And most of them required paying them. And it's free when you do it in-house. If you want to make graphics or images to go with your stuff, I really appreciate Canva. I have a graphic design class where we'll actually talk about this a little bit more in depth, but Canva has a lot of really great social media templates already for you to work with, both in the free and the paid options. So I really like Canva if you don't have a graphic design background. Pixabay is probably my favorite place to get royalty-free images and videos. Royalty-free means anybody can use it. If you are looking for images to add to your posts that you did not make, stay away from Google Images. A lot of the results in Google Images, unless you go in and do some fiddling, are copyrighted. So if you use them, you can get in trouble. But if you go to sites like Pixabay or FreePic, those images are open for you to use. So Pixabay is probably my favorite one. They're really nice looking images, and you can do like anything you could think of. You can do something solid. We're gonna go to Pixabay. So you can do something solid, like, you know, if I search for cookies, and we're gonna make this bigger. Oh, no, it took it off. Oh, come on. Ah, yes, no, that's. So, you know, here's some really pretty pictures, and I could use any of these for my post, whatever one was most in line with whatever I'm talking about. Or you can do something really abstract, like stress. And here's a lot of very stressed out images. And again, you could use anyone that fits with your mood. Whatever you're talking about, Pixabay will probably have some good options for you. Same thing with FreePic. I won't show them because it's, you know, the same kind of site, but FreePic does have some free and some paid. So if you're looking on FreePic, if it has a golden crown in the corner, that is you have to pay to use that one. So if you're looking for the free ones, just skip those ones over. But yeah, those are really great options if you're looking for something to find to add to your posts. So to recap, and then it'll just be Q&A time. Stop focusing on the hard sell. Social media is about connecting and communicating with people. It's person to person. You absolutely can make sales on it, and they have some tools built in for that, but that's not what it's for. You will make sales if you build a good rapport and you have a loyal customer base. Always keep in mind what motivates and interests your audience. It's great if you're putting out info out there because it matters to you, but unless you are your only client, that is not a good enough consideration. You need to make sure it matters to the people who are actually going to be looking at it. Reward the people who do the best business with you. Like people's stuff when they comment on your posts. Share the stuff that they posted about you. If somebody's a really loyal follower and you just see them all the time, don't be afraid to make a post saying, hey, this person is awesome. Thank you so much for all your support over the years. Trial and error. I cannot tell you what is best for your business. There is stuff I have said today in the do not do category that you could do and absolutely thrive on. There are no hard and fast rules. There is advice, and I can give that to you all day, but you're not going to figure out what works for you until you just do it. Even within Goosefoot, there's content that my boss will come to me and say, hey, make a post like this. And I'm like, no, that's dumb. Nobody's going to like it. And she's like, do it anyway. And I do, and it does really well. And I'm like, okay, cool. Even though I'm a professional at this and I went to grad school, I don't know what I'm talking about. Great. Be creative. Try new things. If you have an idea, just go for it. If it doesn't do well, don't do it again. If it does really well, try it again. That being said, you can also steal ideas from other people. Social media is a big open forum, and the greatest form of flattery is imitation. If you see a page doing something that you really like or something that really got your attention, pay attention to that. Figure out what it was, and if there's something in there that you can replicate. And most of all, have fun. Nobody wants to sit in the corner with the person who doesn't want to be at the party. Make sure you're making it your own and you're enjoying it. So any questions?
How did you get to Meta Business again? I lost that.
Yeah, so you can either, when you're looking at your page, there will be a Meta Business Suite on that left-hand sidebar that you can click on, or you can also go to business.facebook.com.
Okay. And then are people more successful in selling when they use Instagram rather than Facebook?
Honestly, I don't know the statistics on that. They might be more successful on either. I do personally, I have bought more things from Instagram than I have from Facebook. But
Yeah,
Instagram also just has a higher rate of engagement, period.
Okay. And that's my next class I'm taking with you guys.
Yeah. Yeah, we've
Thank
got a class on our YouTube channel again that is selling on Facebook, I think, and selling on Instagram. So one of those selling on social media, something like that. So if you want to get into the mechanics of that, we've got a class for that.
Oh, good. And just one other thing, Sammy, when you were showing the actual Facebook screen, I couldn't really read. It was so small. How do I
Yeah.
make it bigger?
Part of it, that's the problem, is just, screen sizes are so small. I'm not sure how to make it bigger for you. We did record this class, so it will be up on YouTube. So it might be bigger when you have a chance to go look at that recording.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sammy, will you make the slide deck available?
Yes. Yeah, I will email this to you guys on Monday when I'm back in the office.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I feel like when I sign on to my page, it's like super cluttered. There's like this much of it is like my actual feed. Is there a way to like?
Nope.
Okay.
Yeah, she's saying that when she signs onto her feed, it just feels really cluttered, and the actual feed is so little of it. That's just how Facebook's got it laid out. It's so frustrating, but yeah, you don't have a lot of control over that, unfortunately.
So much stuff I don't need.
No, I
right
know.
there.
There's so much stuff I don't need either, but they insist on showing it to me because that's how they make money.
Do you find it like less distracting to just create things from the Meta Business?
Yes, I find the Meta Business Suite a lot less distracting. It's a lot more clean and straightforward. And again, if you are a mobile user, the Meta Business Suite is also its own app. So you can do stuff in that app instead of in the Facebook app. All right, if there are no more questions, we'll go ahead and wrap it up for the day. Again, if you come across anything, please feel free to email me. But I'm gonna go ahead and stop recording.
I just want to say to